Hello all, welcome to Selenium with Java June 2021 batch online training session 14. So in today's batch I will try to cover what is Log4j all about, how we can implement Log4j during framework development from the scratch with the help of POM or page object model, how we can generate log in Selenium using TestNG reporter, how we can implement listener interface in the real-time framework, how to generate report ng reports, and how to capture screenshot for the test cases, and how to get the visibility of the screenshot from the report itself, and what is extend report all about, and how we can implement extend report in the real-time framework. So in the previous sessions, right, when I started the framework development from the scratch with the help of page object model, I already covered the basic structure of the framework, right? How you can create the different. First, you need to create the Maven project. After the project is created, right, there are different folder will be created: SRC main Java, SRC test Java, SRC main resources, SRC test resources. How you need to create the different package and folder, and then you need to create the class. After that, how you need to add the different details in the test based class, right? And after that, how for each and every pages, how you need to create the page detail, right, with the help of page object model design pattern, right? How you can take the details with the help of different element attribute, right? The link text, partial link text, ID, expert, CSS, like that. How you can create different method, then how you can implement those things in your real-time test cases, right? After that, multiple, in case you are creating a multiple test case, how you can convert your Java project, right, to your TestNG project, and how you can run with the help of testng.xml file, as well as you are creating the Maven project. So how you can run your test cases in single shot from the pom.xml file. So definitely, initially after the project is created, right, immediately you need to add the details in the pom.xml file. First thing is that you will be adding the dependency, because you as you are dealing with the Maven project, so definitely you will be not be adding any jar file manually. Instead of that, you will go to the pom.xml file, we will add all the dependency there. So initially we need to add the dependency only for the TestNG and Selenium Java. So that is the two dependency only added. And then if you want to run it from the pom.xml file, right, we need to add the Surefire plugin and the Maven compiler, so that it will be running successfully. So after creating the project, we will be adding all the dependency to the pom.xml files. Then we will be creating the test base class. If you go to the test base class, you can see right here we will be declaring some global variable WebDriver, and first we will be creating the properties file here, right? Yes, I think last session we already created the properties file. We will be defining some global details like application URL, browser, in which browser you want to add, run it, right? Any kind of implicit time you want to give it. Then here in the executable folders, right, we will be adding all the driver details: Chrome driver, Gcode driver, iDriver, everything. Then we will be creating the test base class, right, where we will be trying to read the properties files and loading it, right? After that, in case it is matching with the Chrome browsers, it will launch the Chrome driver. In case it is matching with the Firefox, that's so we can do it. We can maximize it. We can pass some implicit timeout, so that it will wait for that timeout until the page is fully loaded. We can also create the teardown method, right, for closing the driver plugin after each and every operation is successful, right? After the base class is base class is created, we will be creating multiple classes for multiple pages. So in case you are having 10 pages, you can create 10 different classes in the com.pom.pages packages, so that for each and every packages, whatever attribute you need to take care, right, you can take care those attribute, okay? And definitely using those attribute, you can use different element locator techniques like ID, class, name, link text, partial link text, CSS, expert, right, with the help of page object model design pattern. So we'll be using by here, and after that we'll be creating all the important method here, okay? And you can also club few method in a single method, okay? In case suppose say there are 10 method we are writing, and and for logging only 5 or 6 different methods is required, you can club, so that in the test case you will be, instead of calling all the sub method, you can call a single method directly, so that your login will be successful immediately. So that's why you can deal with the different pages. So once you already created the classes for different pages, then you will be going to the test cases level. So here we will be calling those important method, and in case of any assertion is required, right, we can add the assertion, hard assertion or soft assertion, right. After that, we can go to the testng.xml file after converting the Java project to the testng project, and we can include whatever classes we need to run it. So after we run it, then we can run it from the testng class, or we can run it from the pom.xml file, so that your project will run successfully, whatever test case you already added, right. So in an every classes you can add multiple test cases as well. It does not matter that only single classes will be there, right, because for a particular screen, right, you can have 10 test cases, for few positive validation, few negative validation, so you can do it. So that's it. But for testing purposes, I have created only one test case to one class, but for in a single class there can be multiple test cases, right. So yesterday in that particular classes we have created only one test cases. Okay, now let's try to create one more test case, say here. So with the help of @test annotation, right, I can create one more test cases here. Okay, so if you want to do it, so that test case you can give it one, right, so that you can just click on the sign in button instead of dealing with other details. Okay, so that can be one test cases. So you can break down the test case in a single class, you can have multiple test cases, right. So now if you want to run it, right, from your first you can run it from your class level, testng class level, so then it will run successfully. So here right now 2 test cases there. So it will run based on the alphabetical order available in the class level. So in a single class you can have multiple test cases. Okay, so one test case got passed, it will try to go for the next test case. You can see it is running, so both the test cases run successfully. Okay, so you can see the result got updated, right. One is test Facebook page home page and test Facebook page home one page. Okay, so it does not matter that only one class will have only one test cases, so it can have multiple test cases.
Harathan, I have a question.
Yeah, sure, yeah. So you can unmute, yeah, you tell me, yeah.
Is it possible to include the data driven in page?
Yeah, you can do it. You can do it. Data driven, keyword driven. So I already covered. That is the reason. Maybe you can try. It not be a problem. So definitely framework means everything will be covered. So whatever is not covered as part of a hybrid framework, I will try to cover it here as part of complete framework development. So you can do it data driven also with the help of, right. So that is the structure here. So there is a test data. You can create a test data sheet here, and you can try to access the data from here, right. So that is the structure I already created. Okay. Test data folder, you can add some Excel sheet that is the already covered in data driven, keyword driven, as well as hybrid framework. You can try it. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Then the next one is we will try to run it from the testng XML file. Here we can run multiple classes at the same time, and multiple classes can have multiple test cases. So that is the next approach. So during framework development, you might have some challenges, but you can, if you do some R&D, you can definitely do. Try to resolve it. Another challenge is that because day-to-day technology is getting changes, right? Because 3 months before, whatever I have tried to cover, right now it is not running. So every time I have to spend some time to debug the code. Okay, so that will be, everywhere. Okay, whatever project you are developing, it does not matter in which language, in which different framework you are using. So there can be some challenges down the lines because Selenium thing is getting changes, right? other thing, right? Different whatever different kind of plugin you are adding, those is not supported, something is getting challenges is there, your browser is getting updated, so your Chrome driver you need to update it accordingly. So that is the different things happening. Okay, so that is the reason sometime right, instead of that Chrome different driver, right, manager they are using it, so that automatically it will update the relevant driver. Is you can try, have a try. Okay, it does not matter. So lot of things you can I mean, I am trying to cover the basic one, the which is really required for starting your journey with that Selenium and Java. And definitely you can spend some additional time, so that definitely initially time you will definitely you might have faced some challenges and you need to do some R&D, and I can assure you that if you cover all my 15 session, then you will have more confidence that you can do some R&D and you can find the answer by yourself. So that's why definitely some of the answer cannot be it will not be possible, you need some expert opinion that can be there, but I can assure that most of the thing you can solve by yourself. Okay, so you can see, now you can see, right, these 3 test cases got passed and all are without any error and all are passed here. Okay, so now you can also run it from the Pomodoro XML file, also similar way you can run it. So that are the different approach we can run it. Okay, now I will try to cover whatever is left. I mean, in today's session, whatever I intended to cover it. First one is that implementation of the log4j, which is really required, right? Why it is required? Because sometimes we need to see the log, right? Application log, how application is behaving. Suppose say you are entering some URL, right? You are entering some ID, password, then something you need to get in return, right? Then URL entered successfully, password entered successfully, or in case of any kind of warning or error or fatal message, so you can also need to check it, right? So that is the reason you can try to implement the log4j. So log4j is the you can find it from the Apache only. So Apache log4j is an open source project which help developers or tester to log the application activities during the actual runtime or execution. So log4j in Selenium can be used to track the execution flow, identify problematic area effectively and easy, and definitely with the help of that you can easily debug your code, right? So these are the different advantages I have tried to depict it here. It's enabling user to understand the application run. Log output can be saved and that can be analyzed later. That is the one very important aspect. It helps in debugging in case of test automation failure. Can also be used for auditing purpose to look at the application health. There are primarily different kind of logs available. Debug, right, which print the debug information helpful in the development stage. Info, just kind of information if you want to pass, that you can print it. Warn, in case of any kind of expected warning, it's not a failure but warning. Error is kind of in case of any systematic kind of deviation, right, with the expected actual result or kind of error message it can be. And fatal means in case of critical thing from where application is getting crashed, right, in case of your network failure, in case of your application shutdown, you can do it. So how you can implement the log4j in your real-time framework? Okay, I will try to cover it here. So you can see there are folder, right, src test resources, this is the kind of folder. So here we can create a file first, new, and then go to other, and then go to file, right? So I will create a file here which I will be giving the name as I can give log4j2 log4j2.property. Okay, this is also a properties file. Okay, I will click on finish. Then after that, here you need to add the details. So I will be sharing that one, you no need to worry. So that is the standard part. I have customized a little bit from the, also I have taken it from some reference, but I have customized a little bit. So here you need to change some of the things. One is the property to file name, right? So you need to change it. Okay, so then you need to change the file name, right? And then you need to change the logger file name, means which of the package you want to run it, right? So here all my package, all my test case will be stored in that package, right? com.form.test case, so I can replace it, I can update it. So that is my package where all the test cases is there, because I want to run the test cases, right? So that is my primary intention, right? So that, right, you can update it, that path. So this is the one path you can remember, you need to update it. Then the property.file name, that is the path you need to also update. So I will be generating the log in my here, right, in the log folder. Okay, so that path I need to give it, right? So I can go to the properties, then I can give that path. So it will be, everything will be same. If I change the project name, it will be also fine. So workspace form.1 here. Otherwise, after that, after you go to the project, that will be src folder, test resources, and then there is a log folder. So in that path I want to generate the log, right? Then I can I want to give the name, right? So this is the file name, that is the extension, and then you can give any name, right? So test cases.log, you can keep it same. So that is the three thing you need to update it. And what is the pattern? It will log, generate the log, right? The message will be there, and definitely this is the pattern, YYYY hour, minute, second, and millisecond. So you can update it if it is required, but I don't prefer to update it, so that it will be same format, so that you can visualize that in which date, which minute, which second, which month, which year the log got generated. So that is the one path, right? So after that you need to save it. Okay, once you save it, right, then you need to add two dependency for the log4j. So let's close it. Then you can go to the path, this is the Maven repository path. So you need to add two more dependency. One is log4j core, you need to add it in your Maven pom.xml file. If you search it, so you can get it. Okay, so I will go for some suitable one, so I can go for that one, right, 2.1.21. okay, so if I click it, so I need to go from stable one, instead of unstable part I can go with some stable one. So it is 2.12.1. I will take it and I will just paste in the pom.xml file. So I'll go to the pom.xml file, and in the dependencies sections I will be adding it before the dependencies tag. So that is the one dependency you add it. Another dependency you need to add is log4j API. So if you go back here and if you type here log4j API, so that is the do dependency you need to add it before implementing the log4j. So same version you need to also add it. Make a note that same version, whatever version I have used here, it is 2.12.1. so similarly also I will be using 2.12.1, right, 2.12.1, otherwise it will raise some error. Okay, 2.12.1. I will be adding the dependency here. After adding the dependency, just press save. So it will build your workspace. It might take some times, couple of seconds to couple of minutes, right? Once you save it, then you can go to the test case level where you want to add the appenders, right, for the log4j. Suppose this is the test cases where I want to add the log. So you need to add some global variable here before the test case, because you can have multiple test cases here, right? So that will be public static, this is the logger class. I can create a variable called log equal to log manager, that is another class. Dot, I can have get logger method, get logger, and here you need to give the reference of the class, right? So this is my class, so that dot class. So that's why you can create a global variables before implementing the logger. So here you need to import all the logger class and log manager class, right? So from that, I think that one code, whatever dependency we have added here. Okay, public static logger log manager dot get logger test class type of log. No, don't want to do it. Yeah, from the code one I need to import it first, and then test AB homepage log manager dot get logger. Yeah, this is the class, right? I will be using it and using some defining some global variable public static logger log variable, and then let's try to see once more time. First let's try to implement the log. Okay, let's try to implement it. I think error message is gone. Okay, then once you create the variable, right, suppose say now every time you can add some logger here. Suppose immediately after clicking on the UK button, right, you can add some logger, that login.info, right? So you can give that some information is like that English UK button is clicked, right? Similar way, every time once you enter email, right, you can add some information, right, that email entered, so that you can visualize your application execution, right? So that's way. Similarly, after entering the password, you can enter something like that password entered. So whatever you definitely every times, so you need to provide that information for each and every step. Okay. Apart from that info, there are a lot of additional things also available, right? For debug, warn, error, fatal, you can also use that in case of any error message. Sorry, any fatals only it will be displayed. In case of any error message, it will be displayed. In case of any warning, it will be displayed. But info, it will be displayed across all your execution steps. So now try to run your execution, okay, and let's execute only that particular test case. Also, a particular class, here two test cases there, and one test case we have tried to implement some logger information, right? So that way you can get some log, and from the log itself you can see whether your execution is successful, or any kind of error, any kind of fallacy, any kind of mismatch is there or not. Because until you are implementing it, it will not be showing you there. Now you can see the console also, right, that logger information is being displayed, right, password entered, whatever information you have added it will be displayed properly. So that is the beauty, you can get it from the consoles, as well as the whatever path you have given, from in that path itself you can get it, okay, and it will be appended, right, and unless you are deleting it, it will be appended. So in case, suppose say you need to provide some justification to your customer, right, that yesterday you have run 5 times, today you are run 5 times, and tomorrow you will be running 6, 7 times, then how you can provide the justifications, right? So that from the logger information you can add the justification. So what is the path? Here you will be adding it the logger information. So resources log folder, and there will be test cases.log, it will be generated automatically, right? So if you go, you refresh your project, so you can go to the log folder, right, you can see that is automatically generated test case.log. If you open it, you can see the log. English UK button is clicked, email entered, password entered, right, and what is the time, you can see 8:29 and the 17:26, that's why. right? Now let's try to implement few more logger here for the other test case as well, right? So here also I want to add a few more steps, right? Similarly, password entered, email entered, other test cases for the same class, password entered. So you can get some flow, right, from that one, that your application is correctly working properly, and then your sign in button clicked, you can give it. So that's how you can update it, right? Now if you want to run it again from the test cases class level, so you can do it. You can run it from the test.ng XML file, you can run it from the POM.xml, it does not matter. But every time your application log, right, will be appended in your test case.log. If you don't want to happen, you can remove it before running it, and you can then run it, so that you can get the fresh log. But it is recommended to keep all the log at least for 1 week or 1 month time, unless it is very big size, so that anyone can go through the log and they can visualize whatever thing you have executed, right? So in case of any pass fail, how many step has been executed, so everyone can get to know. So that's why you can implement the log4j in your framework. So it will try to execute your test cases, whatever you have given. You can see your console is working based on that, right? So based on the log info you are using, you will be working properly. So now if you go to the test log, you can see it is getting added, right? So 3 was initially there, time you can see that 1926, and another 7 is got added, is 1929. So now if you don't want to keep it, you can select and you can just remove it, and you can save it. Okay, otherwise it will be appended. Okay, so that is the log related part. Then next part I will show you how we can generate definitely log, as well as with the help of test.ng properties, how we can get the log, right? So logging, I mean, every time is the most important aspect or part in any automation tool. It does not matter whether you are using EFT or Silk or Selenium, which makes our script more readable format. In Selenium, user can specify steps which they are performing, so that user can check their output, and in case of any issue, user can debug at any point of test case failure. The reporter is a separate class in test.ng that is available under org.test.ng package. Reporter.log is a Selenium in Selenium is a class present in test.ng for Selenium reporting. It provides for different methods, right? We can also use the reporter.log, right? So definitely we can use log4j, as well as we can use reporter.log. Okay, so suppose I will try to use here one part, reporter.log. suppose this is my test cases. So once execution is done, I can say reporter dot log. You can see this is the 4 different things coming, so I can use for something printed out. Suppose say test cases TC past. Okay, so that's what I can update it, right? Now if I go here to the other test case also, I can see that this is my test case name, test case pass. So that I can add with the help of reporter.log without implementing the log4j. But what will be the difference, right? So here if we implement log4j, whatever you are adding, those will be coming here, right? But with the help of reporter.log, whatever you will implement, those will not be coming either in console or in the test cases log. Okay, but you can definitely get it in somewhere, so I will show you where you can get those. So if you try to run as test.ng test, So let's see where you can find those result whatever you have tried to implement as part of with the help of reporter class and reporter.log. So you can see your test case is getting executed. So reporter log .log part is not also coming in the console. Okay. Okay, so you can see two test cases passed, but if you go to the console, right, you can see only that part whatever is available as part of log4j. With the help of that log it is coming, but the reported log is not coming here, right? So that is another part. So you cannot verify from here, but you can definitely verify. So that's the reason you need to go first. You need it will TestNG definitely every time if you run and implement TestNG it will generate default report, right? So you can see here as and when you are executing your classes, right, and refresh the project, so you will finding, suppose say let's refresh it, whether your test output folder is getting updated or not. Yeah, that is getting updated, right? So there is an there will find test output folder, right? And if you there is an option called emailable report.html. So if you emailable report.html and right click here, and if you open with any web browsers, right, so you can see, right, so you can also open in any of the web browser after taking, right, so you can see here. Okay, so you can see total number of test cases run 2, that is the part. So if you open any test case, you can see that part here getting appended, right, whatever part we have tried to give, that is the message as part of the message in the report, but not in the console. So that is the difference between the log4j and another part, right, we are using in the test cases, which is the reporter.log. But definitely you are able to view it, able to verify it, but in different way. So that's why you can use and you can generate the log with the help of reporter .log available in the Selenium TestNG classes. Okay. Then I will try to implement the listeners. With the help of listeners, we will try to kind of capture screenshot, and as well as with the help of with this help, like we will try to generate report ng report, and last we will try to cover the extend report. So listeners I already covered in the previous session, still I want to cover in the real-time framework because that is also very important. So and by the name itself you can see listeners, it will listen first, right? So sometimes user wish to modify the behavior of the TestNG during script development, and this can be done by interfaces. These interfaces which helps the user to do so known as listeners. As the name suggests, you can see listener primary task is to listen to an event defined and react according to that, right? So there are a lot of listeners available. You can try to implement it in the real-time framework. Okay, I execution listeners, I should listener, I test listeners, right? I invoked method listeners. These are the primary listeners I have used, and as well as I reporter. But the other listeners I might not use, might be. Okay, so here I will try to show you how we can use that ITest listener. Okay, so each listeners have specific methods that are overridden. ITest listener also commonly used in Selenium WebDriver, right, where we can simply use it and override all the important methods. So there are a lot of methods available. So I already covered in the one of the session, right, on start, on finish, on test start, on test failure, on skip, on test success, and on test fail, but within the success, right? So these are the this is interface mean you already know, right? So there will be a lot of unimplemented methods, and if you want to implement those interfaces, right, you have to implement all the methods with some kind of body, right? So that is the beauty of the interfaces. So interface will have all the method without any body, but whenever you will be implementing the interface, you have to implement all the unimplemented method. Okay, so where we will create a class. So that is the listener package available. We'll try to create a class here called test listener. Okay, so that is the class we'll be creating it, and we'll try to implement, right? Okay, we'll try to implement I test listener interface, right? So I test. Okay, so I test listeners, I test listener, listener. Okay, I need to use the implements keyword. So you already know interface to interface extend keyword, class to class extend keyword, but class to interface it will be implements keyword, right? So now you need to see, you need to import first. Then once import is successful, you need to unimplement, right? Add unimplemented methods. So that's way we can do it, right? Okay. Now once you immediately implement it, so you can use some of the important aspect in case this case pass or fail. So I can comment out those part, right? So here I will be not be using the reporter.log, right? So here I can also skip out, right? So every test case I don't need to use the reporter.log. That is the beauty of listeners, right? So instead of this part, so I can use here reporter.log in the listener. Suppose in case test case is passed, I can give is that reporter.log test case passed, so that it will be printed in case the test case got passed, right? So reporter.log, need to import it. Similar way, in case test case failed, test case skipped, I can implement it, right? So suppose say test case failed. In case of test case failure, I can do it, give it. Test case failure. Okay. Also, I can give the argument also, right? Here, if you want to add it, concatenate it, you can add it. Argument dot, right? Get test name, right? Get test name. Similar way, also you can get it. Okay, now let's fail one test cases here. If you want to do it, you can fail one test cases, right? So I will be using failure assert else. So I will be forcefully failing one test case, suppose 10 and 11. Now let's see what other thing is coming here. Let's try to run with the help of listeners implementations. Two test cases in a single class, but one test case passed will be passed, one test case will be failed. You can see whatever like that log, right? We have tried to give it as with the help of that listener class is not coming, right? Listener interface is not coming in the console. Okay. Okay. So we can verify it from where it is coming. So now let's refresh the project once more time, or you can go to that part directly. Okay. So. Okay, let's refresh the project once more time, and let's go to that folder here, right? So that is the folder, and if you go here, that emailable report, and just open with any of the browsers, you can see here, right? Default is fast, fail one, the test case got failed here, right? And that part is coming from the listeners here, right? Okay, 1 second. Let's click here. Okay, this is the failure part. Com.form test cases. Argument dot test name. Okay. Also you can use the SYSO printout, right? You can use it so that it will be printed out. I think that I have used somewhere as part of the listener class where I have tried to implement it. So exact code I just maybe might have some forgotten, but you can get the test cases name or status, everything you can get. It will be appended here, but it's not coming in the report. In report, the default is fast failed. It is only coming. It should come. Try to remove it once more time. Is it coming here? It's not coming here also. Reporter.log. You can view my session, whatever I have tried to cover. I can't remember right now, but it should come. Okay, let's see. Let's try once more time and let's see it is coming or not. So let's try to run it. The test cases. Oh, sorry. Yeah, it should come. Okay. Why it is not coming? I got it. Let's keep it. We need to add that part, right, for the listener class in the testng.xml file, otherwise it will not coming, right? So that is already mentioned here in the listeners, that tag you need to add it. Okay, so I will be adding it in that class. Okay, so that part you need to add it. In the testng XML files, if you go here and after the suit name, right before the test name, you can add the listeners. So this is the suit name, and before the test name you can add the listener. It will be package name dot class name, right? So what is the package name here? This is my package name, what I want to run it, right? com.pom.packages. Right click here, go to refactor rename. So maybe sometimes go it com.pom.packages. So that is the part. You can copy it here and I can give it here. So that is my package name, and the class name I can give it. So that is my class name. You can give it. Okay. So now I can run it from the testng XML file itself. Otherwise it might not take. Let's try to run it so that your all the both the classes here in the pages, right? One is the forgotten password and Facebook homepage. Both the classes will be run here. com.pages Facebook page cannot be cast towards IT listener. Okay, sorry, that is the listener class name. That is the listener class name. It is listener. Okay, here the packages will be also, I think, different. com.pom.listener package, right? LISTNERS, listeners. com.pom.listeners, and then your package name. test listeners, and now if you run it, it will be running successfully. So here from the two class it will try to execute. One is the Facebook homepage and another one is like forgotten password page, right? Okay, so it will try to execute three test cases, one class two test case, another class one test case. So one test case will be failed. So you can also get to know that whether it's your properly getting updated based on the listeners class we have added the value. So one test case got run successfully. It will try to run other classes and other two test cases. So during framework implementation, definitely you might have some challenges, and based on the different error message, you can figure out. You can try to sort out one by one. So initially you cannot go right. You need to build your framework like in the incremental order, so that you can debug initially before instead of doing everything and you are running. So every time whatever you are amending, right, you are adding something. Try to run them, right, so that you can get to know what are the exact reasons. So you can see one is the failure, and two is the pass, right? So logging is getting also enabled, and what is the failure reason? You can see here assertion should be is getting fail, otherwise it's fine, right? So now if you try to refresh your project, and if you go to the MLable report HTML and then try to open with some web browsers, you can see here also you can open it here. You can see test case failed, right? Your test case failed, right? Test case passed. Okay, it is getting null, getting added, right? So here maybe we have did some part, right? So we tried to add it. Okay, argument dot get test name, so it is getting added as null. Okay, so it is coming properly, right? For the past fail, so it is appending here correctly. You can see test case fail, that part is getting added, but I think that part is problem. So let's go with instead of dot argument 0 dot get status or maybe other thing, right? Get test name. Okay, I think it will be get name, might be. Okay, so that's why you can try to deal with the different part, right? So you will be writing only one. So in case it is fail, it will try to pick the failed part. In case it is pass, so it will try to get the from the past one. So that is the implementation of the listeners, right? So you no need to write multiple times. Instead of that, you will be writing one times, and based on the condition every time. In case suppose today test case is passed, so it will be give you the pass result. So in case tomorrow test case is failed, so it will give you the failed result, right? So that is the beauty of the listener class. Okay. So now in the listener classes, with the help of listener class, I will try to definitely we are getting some inbuilt report, right, with the help of TestNG, because TestNG has some default report configuration, but sometimes it is not available to present to the respective stakeholders. So we have to go either with the report ng or the extend report, right? So where you can customize our report based on the requirement. So okay, so test reporting is one of the important aspect in any of the automation process. Test reports should be generated automatically at the end of the test execution. The reports generated by TestNG are not much more readable and interactive, and cannot be sometimes cannot be shared with the stakeholder because stakeholder required some sort of more customization, right? So ReportNG is a good add-on to generate interactive and readable report for Selenium WebDriver test. It can be used for generating test report in HTML and XML format in Selenium WebDriver project. User can customize the report by customizing the style sheet, right? So you need to add these two important listener class in that your TestNG XML file first part, right? So I will be adding these two listener class in the listener class. Okay, these two part in my listener class. Let's try to add these two. So I already had the listener text, so I will be first adding these two parts. in my testng.xml file as part of my listener class under the listeners tag. So that is my first part. Second part is that I need to add some dependency for report ng. One is the report ng and another is the Google Goose core library dependency, right? So that is, I already mentioned it here. So we need to add report ng and Google Goose core library dependencies. So if I go to here, right, so report ng, okay, if I search the report ng, so I can find the report ng, so I can go for some version, so 1.1.2 I can go with that. So I can add in the pom.xml file, right? That is the one dependency you need to add. Another dependency you need is Google Goose core library. So I can try here Goose. Okay, you can see that is coming, Google Goose core library. So I can go with the installable version. So I can go with that version, maybe 4.0 or 4.2.3, 61. So I'll be adding the dependency as well and pressing S, Control S. So it will try to execute it. Okay. So in the Facebook homepage right now we are having 2 test cases. I can comment out 1 test cases. Okay. Let's keep it all both the test cases. It does not problem. So there are 2 more class and 2 test cases, right? So now you can see in the test output folder only this other folder is there, right? Default suite, Facebook page suite, JUnit report old, right? These are the different folder available in the test output folder, right? Okay, but as and when you'll be using the report ng, right? So automatically there is a folder will be created called HTML folder. So after you adding these 2 listeners, right, and as well as after to adding the dependency, so once you run your test cases from the kind of testng.xml file, you can see in the test output folder automatically HTML folder will be created, which is not now available, which will be available after implementation of report ng. Okay, and where you can get index.html file. If you right click here, you can get the report in the report ng format. Okay, now let's try to run it from the testng.xml file. So it will run 2 classes including 3 test cases. So it is trying to execute all the test cases one by one from both the classes. So whatever step is required, I have tried to depict it in my PPT. So if you forgot something, if you refer my PPT, you can get it definitely. So I've tried to retain all the point info, what is required to, right, step by step. Otherwise, if you miss one single thing, it will not give you the result. So you already seen the listener implementation, right? So if you need to implement the listeners tags, and with the listeners tag you need to use those listeners, then only you can get that part, right? Whatever you are using as part of your on success, on failure, and based on the test case passed and failed. So now it will try to execute the 3 test cases. So one test case will fail and both the other 2 test cases will pass. After execution is over, if I want to refresh the test output folder of the project, so I'll be getting another folder. Okay, so it will be running all the test cases. So one test case got failed here, and now if I go to the report ng test report, I want to validate the report ng test report, right? I need to refresh my project here. Refresh. After refresh, if I go to the folder, right, test output folder, you can see there is an HTML folder already created which was not there. Until you are implementing the report ng, it folder will not be there. So if you expand it, there is an index.html file, right? So if you try to open with web browsers, you can get it, the details report. If you again want to open with some of the browsers, Chrome, Firefox, does not matter, right? It will give you more realistic report, right? You can see right, overall report is overview, log output, you can see generated by test ng with report ng. What is the time, what is the date, what is the laptop name, right, what is the Java configuration, what is the window configuration, what is the, if you want to go to the log output, right, you can see test case passed, failed, which is coming from the listeners, right? And if you click on the overview, you can see these 2 test cases passed, 1 test case failed, right? If you expand it, you can see, right, 2 test cases got passed and is coming also, 1 test case got failed. And if you want to get, right, test case failed and relevant error message, if you expand, you can see it. All the error message. Why the test case got failure? Because of the assertion failure, right? In every step, expected 11, it is coming 10. So that's why you can generate more detailed report, right, with the help of report ng. Okay. Okay. Now say if I want to set some properties, you can also set it. Okay, so here in the test cases level, if I go to my listener class, you can set some properties as well. This is my listener class, right? Go to the listener class, test listeners Java. Suppose the test case passed or fail, you can also, you need to add this one for more visibility. So that's what you can get it, add it. And if you want to add some more, right, you can add other details like I am telling you. Suppose say in case if you want to get give some breakpoint, right, you can also add some breakpoint, right? So the footer.log, that break you can give it. Now I will try to cover how you can capture the screenshot, right? So and how you can implement those as part of a report ng report, how you can customize report ng. Suppose here the failure is coming, right, but I want to visualize that some screenshot should be added for the failure. How that screenshot can be added here, and how, if I click that screenshot just like that error message, how can I get the screenshot, right? So that also I want to implement it, right? So why the scripts, screenshot is required? Because every time as a tester, right, it does not matter whether you are you are using automation or you are using the manual testing. So every time you as an evidence, right, you need to create some screenshot, capture some screenshot, so that whether if you want to prove some that your test case got passed, you also, or your test case got failed, you need to provide that some justification, and your justification is screenshot. If you raise a defect, right, so definitely developer will not agree, right? In case they are giving some getting some evidence or sometimes they, in case they are fixing it internally, right, and sometimes in most of the projects some proper build is not coming and they are fixing internally and they are rejecting your defect. Until you are having that evidence, you cannot fight with the developer or other stakeholder, right? So that is the reason capturing screenshot is very, very important to specify that which browser you are executing, what are the steps you are executing, are you validating any checkpoint or not, what are the reason this case is getting failed, what are the reason for failure, and are you logging the failure or not. So that is the reason screenshot is required from the testing standpoint all the time. It does not matter whether you failure or whether it's your pass success. So capturing screenshot in Selenium web database 3 steps process I already covered, I think. First we need to create a object or instance from the text screenshot interfaces. So we need to typecast the driver because at the interface there are directly cannot create a class or create an object. After that we need to use that get screenshot as methods, right? And then we will be storing in some source file. After that we will be converting the source file to some destination file. That way capture screenshot will be converted to your destination file, right? So here we will be creating a class. So we already had some packages called utilities, right? So we will be creating a class here in the utilities package. So this is the class label called test utility utility, and I can create that class. So first step is that we'll be using that one, right? So I can directly go here, take screenshot. This is my first step. Here I will be using. So here I need to extend the base class, right? Extends base class. So what is my base class? Test base. So that I can get all the driver details, right? Okay, because we'll be typecasting the driver. So from where will we get the driver? We'll be getting the base class. We'll be implementing the base class. So you can see driver will be coming automatically. So if we import the text screenshot, so HTML will be gone, right? Because that driver is coming from the base class. Because you are extending that one. The next is you need to store in some source file, right? Okay. So definitely here in the base in the class you need to create a method here first, right? So method I will be creating is public static. It does not have a return type, so it will be void and say take screenshot. So here we can provide some file path, string file path where I want to store my file, right? So that's way. So that will be my method here. So I need to implement file from the java.io package, and also the output type also from the yj.open.selenium. So that is done. Next I'll be creating a file for destination, creating a variable for destination file, dest destination file equal to new file, and here I am giving that file path, right? Whatever I want to pass it. Fine. Okay. Then I'll be using the next step. It is nothing but file handler copy source file to destination file. File handler copy source file and my destination file is correct. Let's try to implement the file handler, and then also we need to surround with some try catch block. It's not creating. I think we have to load it from different one. File handler. Okay, we need to throw some declaration, surround with try catch block. Let's try to throw some exception also here, so that avoid any kind of error. Okay, this is the general exception I can provide, throws teach or ws. Okay, and this is the surrounding with try catch block. So that is done. So that is the utilities I am creating for capturing the screenshot. Then I will try to implement it, right, in my listener class. So suppose say I want to capture only for the failure for now. Okay, so I can also add some step. Okay, so that I will be capturing the screenshot. Okay, so that is the step you need to add it. I can call that one. So that is my file name, right? Because I have created public, so I can directly call that file here, test listeners. Then if I press dot, I can get that one. And here I need to provide the file path, right? So which path I want to store it? So you can definitely give that path, right? So this is my path. Suppose say I want to give that path a complete path. And this is my path. And here also, if you created, you can create one more folder here for capturing the screenshot. New other folder. SCRNSHOTS. So this is the folder I am creating here. So I'll be giving that path here. After giving the batch, then it will be src // test / resources RCS / screenshot. You can hard code or you can give some millisecond format, right? So I can hard code it for now. So we're capturing, but definitely you can use, instead of hard coding, you can give some and add it, right? That part I already showed you. Suppose say if I hard code it here, suppose say error message .png. So that's what I can hard code it for now. Okay, why the error message is coming here? Let's try to see. Okay. I need to surround with some try catch block. So that's what is done. Let's save it. So that is my project path. That then src test resources screenshot folder SCRNSHOTS, and that is my path. Okay. Now try to run your test cases from the test.xml file, and whether see only for the failed test case the capture is getting screenshot, because it will be only executed because of only whenever there is a failure, right? So whenever test case fails, so it will be capturing the screenshot. What is the path? The path will be the screenshot folder. Right now it is blank, no screenshot is there. Let's try to run it. So only during failure it will be displayed. Screenshot will be captured, but it will still not be added in your report engine. Okay, so we need to add one more step. I will show you how we can add it. So simply you need to add some HTML syntax. So now you no need to worry about that. I will be providing that particular steps. Okay. So it will execute all the test cases one by one, and definitely one test case will be fail here. So all the test cases got executed. Okay, one test case got failed. So now try to refresh your project. Okay, to refresh your project here. So screenshot is not getting captured here because here your browser is getting closed, so that is the reason Gipter is not getting captured. Okay, and that is the reason you are not getting any file here, right? Folder here, in the screenshot folder. So you need to you need to add the kind of in the test tab itself. You need to instead of assertion failure here, hard assertion failure, you can do some soft assertion failure. So that test case I can pass it, and here that particular test case I can fail it. Okay, or let's comment it out that one test cases so that it can avoid some sort of problem. Let's try to comment it out. So I'll be keeping two test case only. One test case here I will be failing it because of that one. So because of assertion failure, so expectation was that I have tried to expect added one, so that test case will fail now. Okay, so you need to remember sometimes it will, if you are trying to execute in the framework, there can be have some trouble. Okay, so your browser need to be open, otherwise how you will be creating, right, taking the screenshot. So that is the reason, so it might have some challenges like for capturing the screenshot. So let's try to run it once more time. So you need to use always soft assertion. Okay, so that your execution will be particular thing will be there, it will not be closed, the browser will not be closed. In case your browser is getting closed, it will have some, it may have some trouble. Let's see whether in case it is running successfully or not. So I have now two test cases, one test case will be failed, one test case will be passed. So that test case will be executed. That test case also is running, next test case, and definitely will fail the test case because of the error message dismiss discrepancy. Okay, so it will open your browser so that it can take the screenshot. Okay, because of failure. Now try to refresh the project. So you can see there is two test cases, one is got failed. What is the failure reason? You can get it from here, right? So this is the right, expected was one is not coming. So if you refresh your project, suppose if I want to get the error details, right, I can also copy the TestNG trace, I can paste in some notepad, so you can get right the details report here. So this is the reason, right? So expected was here, one has been added, but actually is coming, the one is not there, so that is the reason it's failing. Now you can see in the screenshot folder that is added, right? The screenshot folder, something is coming here, right? You can see the error message .png. You can see that is the capture, screenshot is captured here. Okay. Now if you refresh your project, okay, so here it will not be displayed the screenshot part, so we need to add some more step, right? So here only test case failed and then your part error message, but screenshot is not captured here, right? So let's try to add one more step here for capturing the screenshot. So that is the part you need to be added here, the reporter.log, that HTML part in the listener where you are capturing the screenshot, so that you can visualize it. Okay. So same path I will be giving it so that I can take it from here. Then Okay. Same name. Here you need to use reporter.log, then it will be giving you that anchor link. This is the target. Here if you open it, it will open a new blank page instead of the same page. So that is the part I am trying, and that name will be screenshot. Okay. And here you can add some more step, that reporter dot log, so that you can visualize it here. Click to see screenshot, right? So that's what you can add it, so your report will be more realistic. Now if you want to run it from the testengine.xml file, let's try to run it and let's see what is happening here. So it will definitely try to execute both the test case. One test case will be passed, one test case will be failed, and your screenshot will be captured. Also you can change the name, right? You can fix the name, or also you can concatenate with system.current, right? System.timeunit.current millisecond, right? Current time. So that current time will be appended to the system. It will be unique in nature. So I already covered it in as part of my previous session, right? So that you can definitely have a look how to capture screenshot and how you can give the name with the current timing, right? So that it will be unique. No need to give any fixed name. So one test case will be passed, one test case will be failed, and definitely it will be capturing the screenshot. Okay, so one test case got failed. Let's close it and refresh the project. Let's see. Okay, so here already there. Okay, so now if I go to my project location, right? So let's go to my current project location and now refresh the path, right? So you can see one test case got passed, one test case failed. That is my pass rate, and this is my should name, right? And you can see now, right? Test case failed, and here you can see click to see screenshot. You can also give a break, right? So that it will be coming in the next line. Okay, so here if you give any break point, so it can come in the next line here instead of the same line. So test case failed, click to see the screenshot, and there is, you can see there is a screenshot link is coming. So if you open it, it is coming in a tab, right? Another tab. So that is the line of code I have tried to add it here, right here. So reporter.log, A is the anchor link, the link name will be screenshot, right? What is the link name? Screenshot name, anchor link, and that is the path from where it is syncing the screenshot, and whenever you will be trying to anchor open the link, it will open any blank new page instead of in the same page. So that is the HTML lines of code I have written it here. So you can see it is coming here, right? So from the report itself you can validate, right? And any kind of error message you can validate, screenshot also you can validate. So no need to go to the project location. In the report itself you can validate it. So that is the beauty of the report ng report. Okay. So any questions so far? Now try to add one more breakpoint here, so that it will be added in the next line. Now I will try to run them from the instead of I can change the screenshot folder name, right? Error message 1, right? Here also error message 1, so that you can see there is a new folder will be created. Now instead of running from the test.xml file, I can run it from the pom.xml file. I will try to run it from the pom.xml file and from the Maven test. So you can directly running from the Maven project. Okay. So let's see whether my project is getting successful or not. So you can see it is trying to work, right, with the help of Maven test. It's giving some compilation error. Okay, let's try to save it. Let's try to save the utilities file. Let's close it. Okay, it's running. Okay, so sometimes some sort of cache memory used to stored there, so you need to either before running it you can clean it, or you can close some of the open part and then you can run it. So you can see it will be running successfully. This configuring testing, and it will open it. Okay, it is running from the Maven test also. So okay, so you can directly, whenever you are integrating with Jenkins, you will be just giving the path and you will be triggering the build. So next session, next Sunday, that will be the last session, I will cover the Jenkins part, so that I will try to automate that build trigger, right? Instead of running it from here, I will just simply give the path and I will try to trigger it from there. I can create some pipelines so that maybe suppose say I can trigger the build at night, so at that time it will try to pick up that build and it will try to execute it. So that's why it used to run successfully. So you can also run at the last moment, you can run it from the pom.xml file as Maven test. So main objective is that you can definitely capture screenshot, you can implement different listeners, right? You can and you can add all the dependency instead of adding as a jar files. Okay, you will be creating different pages, and suppose for one pages there are initially you have captured 10 elements, but later point of time few more elements came, so you will just only that page will be affected. So you will be adding few more elements and you will be creating few more methods for that. After that you will be just adding those part as your test cases. So that is the beauty of the framework with the help of page object model. So each and every page will have the different kind of classes, right? Unique classes. So you can go to the unique classes and you can identify what are the updates required, right? So it is running properly. Okay, so definitely as your one test case is getting failed, so it will be giving you the build failure. So one test case will be pass, one test case will be fail, right? Now if you refresh your part here, let's see, if you go here, okay, so if you go to the screenshot part, you can see. So that's why you can implement that report engine. Okay, so today's last, so is it clear, Ankur, Indranil, Shilpa, Girish, any questions from the topics covered so far? Right, how we can implement log4j and generate log listeners and report ng and capturing screenshot. Is it good to understand? But definitely it will be challenge whenever you will try to implement, you might have some challenges, but still I mean trying to, as and when you will be executing, you will be running them multiple times. Okay, try to run them multiple times. In a single time you will not get able to debug your code, right? You will able to get the visibility. So if you get different error, try to search them in the Google, and definitely you can have some idea why it is failing, what can be the root cause. So that's why sometimes I also used to debug it. Definitely it is every time new error message used to come, right? Because of the technology is getting changed rapidly. So suppose say today something is running, 3 months time it will not run, new error message will come, maybe I am not familiar with that. So I used to I search with Google or sometimes post the query in different part, right? So then, and sometimes I used to get the responses, try to take help from the other people, right, who already expertise on that area. Then the last part I'll be covering as part, which is extend report. Sometimes most of the company, most of the client also prefer the extend report, right? So extend report also you can, there are a lot of inbuilt features available, right? So these are the free reporting, so you can use. So one is the report ng, so the test ng default reporting features. So one you can implement report ng, and the finally you can use extend report. Okay. So once an automated test script runs successfully, tester need to generate test execution report. So while test engine does provide a default report, but sometimes it is not satisfiable, stakeholder is not agree to take the report, right? So we can use the extend report, which is an open source reporting library, primarily used in Selenium test automation. Extend report become the first choice of Selenium automation tester, even though Selenium comes with infill report like with the help of JUnit or TestNG, right? With the help of extend report, tester can offer a more extensive and insightful perspective report. Suppose say in case if you want to give some graph, right, how many test case executed, pass, fail, all this stuff, so you can definitely go with the extend report. Okay, and with the extend report library, user can create beautiful, interactive and detailed report for their test, add event, screenshot, tag, device, author or any other information. User decide is to import and to create a descriptive and stunning report that can totally control. The extend report class generate HTML report based on the path specified by tester or based on the boolean flag. The existing report has to be overridden with the new report, or sometimes in case it is true, every time it will be overridden. So what are the advantages of extend report is having? Extend report is more customizable. You can customize based on requirement. Lot of customization you can do. When you can't believe it, right? Whatever you want, you can do it. But it can be some pinpoint, but you can do it, right? Extend API can produce more interactive reports, a dashboard view, graphical view, capture screenshot at every test step, and emailable report. And that report you can email also. Okay. It can be easily integrated with framework like JUnit, NUnit, TestNG. It displays the time taken for the test execution, right? Whatever name or machine's name, right? Username you are using, you can also give it, right? It also tester can track multiple test cases in a single test suite. It can be customized, graphically represent each step in the test cases. Environment you can specify, you can get the percentage coverage, right, in the different pie chart, right? So these are the different things you need to consider for extend report. There are multiple classes available. First is extend HTML reporter class, then extend reporter class, and then extend test class. So extend HTML reporter class will give you the HTML kind of file, right, or kind of blueprint from where you can generate the report. In the extend report class, with that class you can store your report in some file path, right? So you can see extend report, new extend report, the path of the directory, and true or false, right? If you give the true, then means the existing report need to be overridden, and if the value is false, that new report will be generated, new report can be created. And then extend test class. With the help of this class, user can generate log in the report, right? Extend test, and then you can give start test name, right? Start test or test name. So I'll be showcasing. So extend report can be definitely created at the class level, as well as you can implement it in the base class. Okay. So I can show you in the class level on. Okay, so you can also implement the base class, right? Whatever base class you have created, you can implement it, and definitely, and then whatever class you need to implement it, then you need to also implement the base class here, then definitely you can access them. Okay, so I will try to implement in any of the classes. I will show you. You can also implement the base class same way. Let's try to close it. So what are the step? First is that you need to add the dependency for the extend report, right? So here if you go to that path here, so you can type extend report without any space, extnts extend report, okay, or extend report for Selenium, you can type it out. So you will be getting that one, extend report for Selenium. You can click here, right? Here you can find only till 2.41, but there is a versions available till 5, so you can click on that link, right? The artifact was moved to event stack, right? So you can click on that, you can take any report of 4. So I would prefer 4%, so you can also use 5%, so you can use that 5.0.1 also, because it's stable July 2020, and you will be adding the dependency. You can see com.event stack and then extend report, and the version is 5.0. So I'll be adding in the pom.xml file as part of dependency section. That is the first part you need to do. You need to save your project, right? Okay, so I can go at any of the test cases. So I think let's uncomment the other test cases. So we are having 2 test cases here. One we can pass it, one we can fail it. Okay. Okay. So this is the 2 test cases in a same class, and in that same class I will try to implement the extend report. So you can see one test case will be failed because of the assertion failure, expectation, and another test case will be passed because we have removed the assertion, so it will be passed. Yeah. Now how we can extend so first we already mentioned, right, we need to implement 3 class: extend HTML reporter, right, then extend report and extend test. So I can create some global variable here, right? So I am not writing it here anymore, so I have already created it. So I will be creating 3 global variable in the class level, means that class level. So we need to import it. Is it not saved yet? Import it, and for the HTML also you need, why it is not coming. No, it should be my public only. Let's try to remove these 3 things. Let's try to go for some previous version. Instead of 5 I can go with version 4, because I have tested till version 4. Maybe 5 is not behaving in the same way, so I can go with the version 4. So version 4.0.9. yeah, let's try to take it. Let's try to update that one. It's taking some time to add the dependency here. this is my class here. Let's try this. Okay. So this is my page. Let's try to copy this global variable here. 3 global variables. I will be adding it here. Now try to import it. Okay, it is coming. Okay, so maybe from the 5% onward it is not have some problem, so we can use the version 4. I did not check the 5% yet. Okay, so I am using 4 only. So it's 3 is imported successfully. Then we will be creating a before test, so that every time before test it will be called. I will be letting you know the importance here. We will be creating a before test, so every time before test it will be run for every test cases, right? So you can import it. We can import the theme also from that package, right? So we already created 3 different global variables, right? For extend HTML reporter class, extend report class, and extend test class. So with that help of HTML reporter, we will be using new HTML reporter, and here you will be providing the path, right? System.get directory, and which path? Test output folder will be creating a myreport.html folder, right? So here in the test HTML folder we will be creating outside one folder called myreport.html, and from that folder we can get the details extend report, and with the help of extend variables we will be calling that extend report, and we will configuring it. You can give some name, right? Automation testing or Facebook page testing, home page testing. Okay, so name the report, so that will be the name of the report. Theme can be dark, light, we can do it, right? Let's try to see how many themes is available. Dot dark or standard, these are the 2 theme available. You can use any theme. Okay, then with the help of that keyword we are creating a new extend, and we are attaching the HTML reporter whatever we are adding it here, and then we are giving some name, right? So that will be displayed here. Host name, environment name, which of the environment you want to is system testing environment or your local environment of dev environment, right? You can give it, right? Username you can also give it. So that is the before test. So every time report is generated you need to flash the report, right? So that you can contain as part of after test. Once the execution is done you can flash the report, so that part you need to also add it, right? Then another thing is important thing is that, so how you will consider that your test case is getting passed or failed. So every time after every method, means every test case there can be multiple method, so after each and every method I want to run, right? So after method you can also need to add one more steps, right? So that it will check whether your test case is getting passed or failed, and based on that it will try to generate the report. So that are the 3 things you need to add it, right? So after method I can import it, right? I can also import id test result. Okay, I can also import okay name, IO exception. I can also import status from that event stack extended report, right? It's coming from the extended report. So that are the 3 different things you need to do it, right? Okay, once this is done, so this is the thing is that in case your result is failure, right? So your that will be executed and you can get all the result of the failure. In case it is skipped, your test case will be skipped. In case it's success, in case it will test case will pass, right? That's why it will be displayed here. Now try to run it, because I already created the tried to create the extended report at the class level, so I can try to run it. So here 2 test cases there. So based on the 2 test case, it will try to generate my extended report. So it will run both the test case. One test case will pass, one test case will fail. And similar fashion you can also add the screenshot, right? Same way. Okay, you can try that. How can you log, just like report ng you can also add it. So no need to worry. I think most of the thing will be same. So let's try to generate the exchange report now, and let's see whether is how right, how comfortable we are with the report, whether this report is emailable, or like we can send it to the respective stakeholder or not, right? So test case got executed, one test case passed, one test case failed, right? Why it is one test case got skipped? Okay. Okay. So let's see first. After that, we can fix it. Refresh the project. Let's go to the test output folder. Here you can see there is a index.html, right? Sorry, what is the okay, I did not given the test case level, right? So that is the reason it is not coming. So I have just tried to run it, but I did not give it the last one, extend test case level. Okay, so here also you need to add it, right, at the test case level. So that part I have added. So how can you add it? You need to create so you can give it the name as 1 and that name as 2. Okay, and the from Facebook page 2, so it will be executed later, and here you can need to use the test. So these are the two part is done, right? You have created three different variable. One is the reporter, extend report reporter, then extend report, then extend test, three variable, right? So for each and every test case you need to call it, right? So that it will be using the variable test equal to extend dot create test, right? And here you can give the test case name. So FB home page 2, and suppose that one is my BPS home page 1. Similar way also for each and every test case I can give it, or maybe at the last I can give it. Okay, after tear down I can give it. Similar way you can give it at the last. Now let's try to save it and let's try to run it, and let's see what is happening. You can stop it because here you have given the name as both as 2, so it should be 1 and it should be 2, right? Let's save it and let's run once more time. So during framework development, you need to remember all the steps. In case you miss something, it will very tough for you to debug it. Okay, so just try to remember the thing. Definitely you can customize your framework, but like whatever topics I am trying to cover with that, you can definitely develop your framework very easiest way. Okay, and customization maybe it can be some sort of pain, right? You need to implement some of the things which is not covered. Every project, every kind of customer wants their own way, and definitely you need to spend some time to customize that. But you no need to, if you know the basic part, it will not be tough for you to go for that customization part. You can get lot of additional informations from internet, documentation, right? So that you can definitely go ahead. So in case you are working for 5 projects, you will be finding 5 different new challenges in every project. Okay, and definitely you have to bear those things. Then only you will be having more confidence. You will be learning lot of new things, new skills, right? I think execution done. Now let's go here. You can see here 2 test case run, failure 1, skip 0. Now if you want to refresh your project, now try to refresh it, where you can get the details. you'll be getting the details in the path whatever you have given, right? So that is the path given: user directory, test output folder, and my HTML report. Let's go to the test output folder, and you can see there is that part got generated, right? Let's try to open with web browsers. You can open it. Try to open it here also. You can see one test case passed, other test case got failed, right? So that's why you can get the details. One is it is considering only one test case, but one first part is passed, second part is got failed, right? It is, you can see some sort of kind of pie chart is giving it, right? Pass, fail, fertile, skip, all this stuff. You can go here, details, I think, go to the status here. So it is giving only failed one. Now if I go down here, right, go to down, right, you can get details. Okay, total test one, what is the time taken, environment, right? You can see this is the local host, environment, dev, user, horizon, everything you can get it. So you can customize a little bit. So this is the kind of report I have told you how to do it. You can get a lot of information from internet. So if you know how to create the external report, you can customize it, will not be a challenge. Okay, so that's why even at the project level, or if you just do the same line of code, right, copy the same line of code in your base class, and after that whatever class you are, whatever test case you need to implement the base class, and you need to add this part only. Okay, test case level, so that it will generate that report, test extend report. And lot of, you can also implement it in your listener class. So you need to add few more steps, so that you can try to have a look. And okay, in case of anything challenges, you can let me know after practicing something, so I can try to definitely help you out with that also. Okay, so that's why and another thing is that you can also try to read the external sources. So I did not cover it because I already covered so many sessions, right, for how to load the data, how to read and write the data. So you can refer my data driven framework, keyword driven framework, or IBIT framework, and you can just try to add the data in the test data sheet, and you can read and you can go for multiple iteration. Apart from that, rest of the thing is covered, and you can definitely get to know how to create the framework from the scratch with the help of Maven project. First you need to all the dependency, then in the main folder you can create the packages for base class, listener class, pages, utility, which is the KinSort, and then test Java. You can create the packages for test cases, right? And in the SRC test resources you can load all your drivers, Chrome driver. You can add get the log, application log. You can add the properties file. You can get the KinSort. You can add the test data. You can also implement the log4j. Okay, so that's why it will help you, okay, to build your framework. Okay, so that's, I think, that are the different topics I have tried to cover it today. So that's all for today's session. So in the next session I will try to cover how you can integrate the Jenkins, how you can build your job automatically, or how you can create some pipeline with the help of Jenkins. Then definitely it will help you more, it will help you to gain more confidence on different framework, different kind of tools which is directly relevant to your Selenium framework, right, kind of DevOps tool or build validation tool, right. And definitely if you just try to put some extra effort in practicing different website, right, with different pages, with different test cases, you can get to know what are the different challenges you are facing. Try to practice more, and in case of any challenges, major challenges, I can definitely try to help you out. Okay, so that's all for today's session. Thank you.